Today we're going to be adding a bunch of carbon fiber to Lethal Camaro to hopefully change the look for the better. Let's get to it. What's going on, guys? Matt over here, Lethal Garage, and today we are installing carbon things, carbon parts. They're things from Carbon Addons. So if you guys aren't familiar and didn't see my unboxing and kind of overview video of these products, upper right hand corner, I think it's like up over here, you'll see it. There'll be a link to the previous video, but they're basically skins. Now these are lightweight actual carbon fiber products, and I got them all wrapped up, but here's one. And you can see it's a nice product, but it is a skin. It is stuck onto the vehicle with double-sided sticky tape, and so there's a little bit of prep that needs to go into this. And some people may go, oh, I don't want ghetto skins on my car, that's not going to look good. Well, I'm going to find out if it does look good, because I don't know if I'm on one camp or the other on it. So today we're going to install the door handles, we're going to install the front mirror covers and the antenna, all with the hopes to break up some of this tons of white downside of the car. Now, I honestly think just the handles alone will accomplish what I'm going for. The partial mirror covers, and I got to knock a few points to Carbon Addons. Their images on their site do not appear to show that their product is only partial. I would highly suggest they add a couple more pictures to show that it's only a front fascia. And it's funny because you have to scroll all the way down, and it's like the second to the last bullet point that it's like it's only a partial cover. So this portion of the mirror will still be seen. I may do, like, I don't want to say I'm going to do plastic dip because that would be bad, but maybe I'll get this wrapped black and then the skin on there. But all that being stated, we got to see how it looks on the car before I can really complain about it. But my only complaint is, and I went back to the site just to verify it, but I thought it was a full cover. I'm guilty. I didn't read all of the bullet points. I would have figured they would have highlighted it higher up in the chain, mainly because every single image they have of it is from this direction. They don't have an image on their site from that direction, and that was kind of disappointing in a sense. But either or, let's get to the install. So there's a few things we got to prep for it, and we'll just start slamming these pieces on. Okay, so to kick things off, we are going to use the surface cleaner they provide. Seems like a pretty big, yeah, it's like a big ball of alcohol. So this stuff will evaporate, so we're gonna go ahead and wipe down this entire mirror. Looks like I hit a bug. Whoa! And of course I drop it on the ground. Fired. Fold that side on the inside. So we'll wipe down the handles, wipe down the antenna. Now we gotta do the other side. And again, this is just getting any sort of wax or extra junk that could be on there, and having a nice clean alcohol surface will basically guarantee proper adhesion. And this isn't going to hurt the car by any means, or the paint. So there you go. Everything's been alcohol wiped. And I would say the biggest one that you want to truly make sure it's super clean, and that's because your hand and greases are going to get on there, is the door handles. So your door handle, you're grabbing all the time. If you're like me, sometimes you're just hitting the button, but you're always opening the door this way. So just make sure you get a couple good rubs on there, get any grease or film or anything like that. Now my car is ceramic coated, so it should be pretty, like, once the alcohol is wiped, it should stick to it pretty good. But then again, we'll find out. And I need to apologize because the cover for the antenna did have tape already pre-adhered to it. Makes me wonder if I need to add additional tape to it at all. It doesn't really say anything on the site about that, so I'm assuming these two pieces, but I'm kind of really leaning towards adding a piece in this area right there, primarily knowing that I'm going to be hitting some pretty high speeds, and just having a little more grip down there I think would be good. But I have to kind of verify in a sense to see if it's gonna interfere with how low it's gonna sit, and I don't think it will. There's a little bit of movement back and forth, so I think I'm gonna put a little bit of tape in there see what we could do to make it stick as best as possible. So, because I put my grubby hands all over it, and I don't know how dirty or clean this is, rub this down with alcohol. A pair of scissors, and I'm not going to put too much on there, just a little bit on that front leading edge. I think I could use it. Just to give it that grip. And because I ordered so much stuff, I'm not even sure if you get extra tape. So if you were to order just this antenna piece, if it even comes with more tape to add here. But 3M, they make a VHB tape, and there's other stuff, but you want it as thin as possible. So they used a slightly thicker product up top, but here I'm going with the thinnest possible material. And I'm pretty sure they used a promoter to put the tape on the carbon fiber. I'm gonna recommend to do the same thing. I have this foam. This is kind of a soft foam rubber anyways down in here, so I'm not too worried about scratching the carbon fiber, but don't want to stab myself. So let's get the first piece on. I'm not using a promoter on this piece for a few different reasons, but let's see. So that is down. About as down as it's gonna get on there. Looks pretty good. So these pieces already have, I mean, they're obviously already in place. So it's the fun task of peeling this off. So one thing to highlight is when you're working with double-sided tape, you want it to be warm. I would not recommend doing this in any sort of cold environment. If you're out in the east or where it's snowing and cold, hopefully you have a heated garage that you can do this in, or maybe even start your car up, drive it around, help it warm up. Typically you want it at least to be over 70 degrees. Because if it's too cold, tape has a tendency to not want to stick. It just won't. I got these peeled off. It's gonna be rinse and repeat on the other side, so I'll show you how this side goes on. So, but I'm gonna line it up on the button and then force her all on there. And on this one, just making sure it's lined up on the, because if you know, you're going to be pulling this, so you don't want these touching in a sense. So this is just some bead maker. It's really good at getting fingerprints off and adding a nice layer to the product you're spraying it on to make it hydrophobic and repel water. That looks good. Oh, I like the way that looks. It definitely breaks up the white. Now the downside is you could still see a little bit of white, and if you can get past that, you'll like it. So luckily my alcohol pad is not completely dry yet, shockingly. So I'm gonna alcohol wipe the inside edges. Now in this instance, this is where I'm gonna be using the adhesive promoter. Just based on putting the antenna piece on, it was very clear that the promoter, it needs to be promoted to the carbon fiber side and not necessarily the car. So, if you guys aren't familiar with how this looks, as I mentioned earlier, it's not a full cover, it's a partial. So this will be exposed. I'm slightly worried to stick it on without wrapping this first, but I'm gonna go ahead and do it anyways. Worst case scenario, I pull this off. That's another reason why I don't want to use the adhesive promoter. So if I do need to take it off, maybe I'll even just do a couple strips. I do wish they gave me a couple of these. I know they're not cheap, I get it, but it would have been nice to have more than one. Okay, so I got the backing off. The one thing I found myself doing was any part that I touched with my fingers, I had to end up slicing off because it wasn't sticking even with the adhesion promoter. So I got it all kind of lined up. It's all good, everything's stuck on there, but I highly suggest you grab a couple more packs of these. I think they sell these at Home Depot or any hobby store, but potentially Carbon Addons, if you get a big order like this, maybe include a couple of these in the package. I know they're not cheap, but yeah, I was having troubles getting parts sticking. I ended up taking this center part off because it would not stick no matter what I did. So, and I don't have more adhesive promoters, so it is what it is. But I have this piece ready to go. Basically, just slide it and kind of have to be careful, but it's in place. So now I can stick it on. That is that side. We'll take a look at the car. I'm gonna rinse and repeat the other side. I don't have to basically record the whole time for that, but that being stated, we'll show you what the final looks like. Our final look is outside in the sun. So yeah, let's get there. We have completed the install of all the Carbon Addon products. I think it breaks things up just enough. Not nearly as much white in your face. And again, as I highlighted earlier, there is a portion of the mirror still exposed. I'm not sure how I feel about that yet. But you can see the door handle. I'll go to the sun side. You can see there is a little white gap, and that's okay because when you're grabbing the door, you kind of need to leave a little bit of a gap. You do feel the carbon fiber, so that's going to be something you have to watch out for. Now, the antenna is sitting pretty nice, but there is a noticeable white gap on the bottom, especially on this side. So I tried kind of pulling it over from the passenger side, and you can see there is a noticeable gap. Now, even if I got it to go over, the gap will appear on that side, so it's kind of finding the sweet spot for it. But yeah, it stands out. As far as the shell on this side, you can see it in the sun. And Right now, the door handles are my favorite piece. They look nice. There's not too much white showing off, and it looks like it belongs there. I think on the passenger side, I could do the fuel door. Might be too much, but I think that's, I'm gonna say it, clean accent along the body. Matches the Anderson hood quite nicely. You can kind of see how it flows with my shadow. And then the carbon fiber one. Spoiler from Anvil Auto. Okay, so I have some final thoughts after the install of the Carbon add-on items, and this comes after installing it, driving it around, getting in and out of the car about 8-9 times. I ran a bunch of errands this afternoon, and also stopping by a few places and talking to people about it, on what they thought, what they saw, what they did. And the biggest thing is, one, I have a white car, and doing an overlay setup like this on a white car, you may want to take a couple additional steps to make it look perfect. Now, in this instance, and I talked about this during the install, the gap between the front and back. I get why they did it. Unfortunately, because my car is white, it just looks off to me. Now, I can either have this wrapped black, I can paint it black. There's a lot of different things, but if this was black, I think my mind would be a lot more at ease with the overall design. For the antenna, it's a lot less protruding, obviously, than the front mirror covers. I will highlight again, they should really add photos from all angles on the site. They don't show it in this light. They don't show it from this angle. Everything's coming from this angle over here, straight on, nothing that way or nothing this way. And I guess white could be the worst enemy of this product, because if you had a black car or a dark silver car or the dark green, or potentially even blue, it might look way better. So the door handles, I think the door handles look great. I don't have any gripe or any issue with them whatsoever, outside of the car, or outside of the fact that my car is white. Because of the white, you can see the white in between the cracks. You can see the white here. And honestly, you don't see the white in here unless you're literally right up on the car. But at a distance, you can see the white in the gaps here. I could paint that black. I could put a little bit of wrap in there to solve that. I may end up doing that, but just something to think about. If you have a light color car, it's one of the things that will stand up, and it will just scream that this is an overlay and not actually carbon fiber handles. As far as the antenna goes, kind of the same thing, and it's a lot less obvious, but there is a small line. Now, the product could be a little bit longer to close that gap. I don't think every antenna is exactly the same from GM. I just don't. They're molded, they're made, there's just a difference between all of them, in my personal opinion. It's that way with every part and piece. No fender is stamped the same, nothing's exactly the same. That being stated, if my car was black, you would never notice that. My car was a dark color, you would never notice that. Can I make that black underneath and put it back on and probably hide it? Yeah, I think I could. And I probably will do that. But just something to highlight, just the initial install, if you're gonna install it right off the get-go and not take in mind any of these critiques. And that's what they are. This is my opinion. So I'm sure a lot of you don't share the same opinion, but I just want to express it explicitly. So all that being stated, I'm again really impressed with the quality. The install was super easy. There's a few other things that I need to do to really tie these in on the car. So that's where I'm at. I wanted to add that to this video, but again, let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. There you have it. That is the Carbon add-ons items installed. Obviously they make a lot more products. They make a lot of interior products as well. And one thing I did want to highlight is they did also send me this shifter bezel for an automatic and the cap in carbon fiber. Now I'm not planning to do carbon fiber on the interior of my car. So I'm gonna give these away to a lucky person, a matching set. Again, these are for the automatic. So if you guys are gonna win this, please have an automatic vehicle for this. But all you have to do is enter a comment below and I will reveal the winner in the next video or two, depends on when I shot that video, etc, etc. So I'll reach out to the winners and you have a chance, but you just have to comment below on the YouTube video and give the video a thumbs up. So do all that and let me know in the comments below that you want a chance to win it. You'll have your chance. I'll put all the names in the little spreadsheet. We'll do a random number generator. We'll pick the number and that will be the winner. So we'll do it as fair as possible and we'll give it like a week's time frame for people to get a chance to see the video comment. So that all being said, yeah, Carbon Addons, that's all I got. So Carbon Addons, I think quality is great. I think fitment on the antenna could use a little bit better setup. The mirror is as advertised, as going back and reading it, so I can't really complain outside of just my own what do I think of that versus a full mirror. I may go down the path of potentially just replacing the whole mirrors and do a full carbon fiber setup, but I think I'll go down and either paint it black or have it wrap black or something just to see how that looks. Is it worth going down that path, or maybe just paint the whole mirror black and then add them? I don't know. There's so many different things we can do, but that's all I got. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. But until next time, hope to see you on the road.